nothing but faith. There's things far too great that I want to accomplish. I'm hoping 25 hours a day, but something good works out, and I'm just like, dang. Think everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm like, dang. Think you might just know the way. I'm like, dang.
Welcome to Dang.
Dang! I'm Todd Bridges.
And I'm Bettijo Bridges. And today we're joined by Joe Henderson, founder and CEO of Sierra Health and Wellness and the Elijah House Foundation. He's built one of the leading behavioral health networks in California and Nevada. And Joe is on a mission to change the way we treat addiction and mental health. We're so glad to have you with us today,
Yes.
Joe.
I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for the invite.
All right, so let's dig it right in. Let's see what was the spark that made you want to decide that to do this kind of work?
Work in
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a very easy question. I've answered that question about a gazillion times, right? Because everyone wants to know. I really found my way into the industry somewhat it's in the blood. So my family's been running Salvation Army men's programs since early 80s.
Okay.
And that has always been a part of our family structure. Me specifically, I never thought that I would ever get into it. I had a business mind, and that was my interest, and that was my goals in life. And I was a director of operations at a nonprofit in Butte County, up in Northern California.
Okay.
And we had a quasi service line where we just helped people, right? So a lot of folks have addiction, mental health issues.
Yeah.
So we found ourselves needing to connect these people to programs.
Like an 800 number? Is that what you mean? Like when you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
line?
We had resource lines. Folks would come in. They would. It was a faith-based program, so we did Bible studies with them and that sort of thing. And folks have mental health issues. They have addiction issues, so we want to be able to help them. And so we started to look for resources in the area, and we started to partner with people and place folks into treatment facilities that needed it. And there was an individual, and I'll just placehold his name as Mark. And he was someone that, when you work with people on a one-to-one basis, you really create bonds with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're there with them in their lows and in their highs. And this was no different. And I hadn't seen Mark. He last I heard from him, he was doing really well, and I had worked with him for a long time. He comes back, and he's a mess. And at that time, I was running the day-to-day of the nonprofit. And I just said, Mark, let's go. We're going to go to treatment, man. I'm going to bring you in. And we drive to the facility that we had sent so many people to, and I guess none of us walked it.
Oh, no.
We show up, and it was like, New York City, right? Everyone's just coming and going, and we're two strangers in the middle of the lobby of a treatment facility, and nobody's
trying to help you?
No,
Oh, that's terrible.
They're just walking back and forth, and
Oh, yeah.
I finally waved somebody down. And I said, hey, we're here to see if, we can get my friend into treatment and want to know more about your program and what you guys can do. And someone says, okay, let me get the program director. And the program director comes out and shakes my hand. And I look down the hall, and he's kind of walking me through what the program looks like. And I see two people laying on blankets in the hallway. And I just naturally said, what are those guys doing? You're thinking maybe they're cleaning the rooms or something like that. And he goes, oh, we have, our beds are full right now. We don't have any openings for 2 more days, and these guys admitted today. And I said, so you got them sleeping on the floor? And I just turned around, and we walked right out of there. And
Wow.
That was the moment that I knew I had to, if this was what was being offered to our community,
Right.
I have to get involved because this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what sparked it.
Wow. Well, and that's so interesting that your family was involved with the Salvation Army program all growing up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was really more. It was just part of the family. I mean, it was just part of what we did. We
Did you
helped
get
out the
involved as a
community.
kid?
Absolutely,
somewhere?
yeah. Not in the men's program specifically, but in the community-based services that the Salvation Army does in general. I mean, Christmas program, was a big time. I mean, we all know about the angel tree tags.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a big seasonal project that we led in, and it's fantastic to be able to see all the families sign up and come through, and you set up the toys, you organize them, you get everyone's family's presents put together. So it's just been a part of our blood.
That's so interesting, because when you said it was, genetics in your blood, I was expecting to hear like an addiction recovery story in your blood, because you hear that a lot, but it was like, no, this was like the community service. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Can you share a little bit more about your personal experience with addiction and recovery, watching people go through that process?
Yeah. So me personally, I'm what folks call a normie. I don't have addiction issues specifically, but my family does. Specifically, my older sister, struggled with, polyuse all of her life, and
Polyuse, I guess you mean like many different things.
everything you can imagine, anything that's available.
Yeah, I was straight one drug only.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want nothing else.
Right. Yep.
The white stuff.
Which why so?
Yeah, there is several different white things.
Yeah.
Always say that.
Yeah.
And none of them you should like lick your finger and like taste them.
No,
like
that's
they
step
show on
one.
the
No.
TV shows.
Yeah, that's step one. No. Especially with fentanyl now.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
die.
gosh, you're right. You could just like lay yourself out.
Yeah,
There
you're
was
done.
an officer, poor officer was like found a fentanyl bag and he puffed up it a little bit and just
I know,
got a little
'cause
bit in
you're
his
right.
nose
If
and he
it's
went
just a
out.
little-
They had to resuscitate
Yep.
him.
So
I've
scary.
seen
Fast,
them. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyway,
and it's on
sorry.
everything now.
Interrupted your story.
Oh
Keep
no,
going.
not at all. Yeah, no, I mean that was a big thing, and of course, working in the field, you just work with a lot of that in the community, so it was a no-brainer. For me specifically, when that happened, when I decided, all right, I'm doing this, I had thought I was going to do it with the organization I had worked for. We were a nonprofit. We ran off of donations, and I thought that was the dumbest idea. I call those types of nonprofits professional panhandlers,
Right.
because you got to have a base. You have to have something that's running, turning the lights on, that's paying the bills.
Yeah.
You can have donations for other big projects or other things like that, but you have to have something. Subscriptions, you have to have, and this is just the business mind thinking.
Right.
And I thought, well, this could be it. This could be the service line for this organization that covers, the expense lines that we need. And so I spent 9 to 12 months, I can't remember, putting together a business plan for the board. And I had worked with a lot of colleagues. They all thought it was a terrific idea. We were involved anyway. And I got everything figured out, from regulations to where we're going to get folks to treat, so on and so forth. And I presented it to the board, and the board said, we don't want this liability. And so I sat on that for 3-4 days, and I talked to a couple mentors, my pastor at the time, and I just said, what do you think? And they said, do it. And so I started with a $10,000 credit card. And I opened up my first sober living, and it was a 10-bed men's criminal justice program, and it started with the Elijah House Foundation. And within 8 months, I had 3 sober livings, approximately 70 beds, all contracted with criminal justice agencies, the jail, CDCR, California,
Because they were just needing beds.
Oh my gosh. And what
Yeah.
happened is they walked in, and we had some, what I felt was basic principles. And when they walked through, they were blown away. They were just blown away of how nice the facilities were, how nice the furniture was. And I remember one sergeant said, I can't even believe the furniture matches. Like, the beds are the same. And I'm thinking, wow, where's the benchmark here?
Yeah.
I ran one for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is. It is.
And then I had a kid, and then I had to stop because I didn't feel like babysitting anymore.
Yeah,
Basically.
that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, tell us more about the Elijah House Foundation.
Yeah, so that's a nonprofit organization, and it's really what Sierra Health and Wellness was born from.
So that was what you had started right there at the beginning
Right.
with your $10,000 credit card, and that was what you were starting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And the Elijah Foundation, or the Elijah House Foundation, it's the story of Elijah in the Bible.
Oh, wow.
And it's the story of true restoration. So that was the concept of the purpose of the organization. And
Tell us that story from the Bible real quick.
Man, it's
like
been so many years. We'd
you
have to
don't-
open
I'm
it up.
putting you on the spot. I'm trying to think too.
The Elijah story?
Yeah, do you know the story of
I don't
Elijah?
remember it either.
Oh man.
Elijah, I hope I'm here, sitting on a podcast, so I hope I remember this correctly. But Elijah was the one individual that was translated,
Right.
and
okay.
and so never saw death. And so it's the true restoration of like the human spirit, the human mind. At least that's
that.
what I got out of it, right?
Okay,
and so,
cool, yeah, you can
So I thought, okay, I've thought of 10,000 names. I think this is what I want to do. I want to truly change people's lives, completely restore families. That's what I want to be a part of. And so that took off. And in 2019, I thought, man, I have to diversify, because I don't know if you guys have ever worked with county contracts. Sometimes they don't pay you.
Yeah.
And it's that way with government, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, we have to diversify service lines at the Elijah House, and we need to start was a for-profit organization, Sierra Health and Wellness. And with the basic principles of, if my kids need to go to treatment, I feel comfortable sending my boys there.
Yeah.
Or my daughter now. I have a new daughter, 4-month-old.
Yeah.
And that's everything we've done,
Yeah, I always had beds for county people too. I had beds for county people and beds for regular people.
in your
Because and then I had mine down to where it only took one person to actually run the whole place.
Yeah.
Which means that I only need one person, money from one
that was
person. That
paying.
was it.
Yep.
And I can run the whole place.
Yep. Yep.
So then I can give beds away to people that really needed them, at the time, Except for, I think when I was, and how many, the problem we had in the beginning was so many neighbors trying to get you out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have a lot of that. They don't want you in the neighborhood, but they can't get you out.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, they automatically think, oh, these guys have sex offenders.
Oh,
or,
yeah,
It's,
exactly.
the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And you're like, these are just, regular dudes with addiction issues and subsequent criminal, activity, which is a symptom of addiction, right? So, it's pretty crazy.
And I was fortunate to, I worked with a courthouse too.
Yep.
A Santa Monica courthouse. I worked with them. So I always got a lot of people in. The judge was always like, well, if Todd can't fix them, nobody can.
Right.
Well, when you set out to create Sierra, what did you want to do different from what you had seen?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to provide what folks in SoCal call luxury rehab and provide it to the regular people.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And that's what we've done.
Because usually it's very expensive for those places.
Oh, yeah, and they offer all of these ancillary services, but they charge additional dollars for them. We don't, right?
Yeah.
Now, the downside to that is you don't have the luxury of having just 6-bed facilities. You have to have 15-bed facilities or, larger grounds in order to have the volume to be able to make the economics work,
Yeah.
But that's the only downside.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, one of the things I found interesting about addiction treatment as I've learned more in the space, Todd and I have a nonprofit that we're developing related to this, and so we've just been learning a lot about it. And I found it fascinating that there isn't, the set standard of care that you would see for, say if somebody has, cancer or some other medical illness, that there's this prescribed process, prescribed steps that doesn't matter where you go, you're going to get these same treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't exist so much for addiction recovery.
Yeah.
And it was that idea that it was developed outside of, kind of the mainstream medicine in the beginning, because it wasn't seen as.
Because it took so long for them to realize that it is an actual addiction and it's an actual disease. It took so long for them to see that.
Yep.
But it was just like when we used to go to meetings, it was like, between AA and CA, you go to a meeting and it was like some of these at AA did not want you to say you were, I'm an alcoholic addict. They didn't want to hear that. They were like,
Yeah,
What is
you're not
CA?
a real like.
Cocaine Anonymous.
Oh, okay.
And then there's NA. Narcotic Anonymous.
Yep.
There were all those. Yeah.
Yep.
But I found more stability in AA.
Well, and even
So I have-
AA
Yeah.
is not a medical,
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
Evidence-based.
It was what there was,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that a little bit more about
Yeah.
how that has evolved? And
Yeah, and I'll tell you too what controls kind of the differences in the standardized workflow for treatment facilities, it's really the insurance companies, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we have to provide a baseline amount of services that are referred to as evidence-based, right? AA is not one. We could
Yeah.
we could offer AA in the
Yeah.
program, but that is a supplemental course.
Yeah.
It doesn't count towards what we're getting paid for by the insurance companies. And so they've designed this in a way where you have to provide what they deemed is correct
You
here.
have to chart on people then, right?
What's that?
You have to chart on people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
that's what I had to do,
Yep.
too.
And then you do
Chart.
the stuff that actually works, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, 2008 was when the law was passed that addiction, mental health services, just in general, had to be looked at from the insurance company's perspective as a medical procedure.
Oh, yeah.
Just the same.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too long ago, you know?
Yeah, no,
so,
that's
Oh, I know.
fairly
When I
recent.
went through it, when I was lucky when I went through it, it was through my insurance from the business, so they
Oh.
understood it.
Yeah.
Right.
They completely got it.
that was way earlier
But still, you were looked at not from the business, but from the outside world. You were looking at it as being the scum of the earth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
yeah.
didn't realize it was like, like people just, I'm going to throw my whole life away. This is what I'm
Right.
going to do.
Yeah.
No one says that. It's not what
Right.
Right.
you're setting out to do. It doesn't happen that
Yeah.
way,
It's
So-
a real medical
Yeah,
condition.
it is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that 2008 change was good, but what has it brought? I feel like there's been bad that's brought along with it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what really hinders good service lines is the fact that the rates that providers are getting are so extremely low
Yeah.
that we could not provide what is needed to treat the illness, right?
Right.
And you're dealing with a ton of issues that are linked to mental health issues that all individually have to be treated.
Yeah.
It takes time. We're dealing with the human mind. We're not
Right.
dealing with a cut on your elbow,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And so that stuff takes time. It takes time to discover during treatment, both for the patient and the the provider. And they don't see it that way, right? And so
Right.
they want to pay as little as possible and as many amount of small amount of days as humanly possible. And then you get some payers that might pay a little bit better, but then we talk about the Medicare system in California. I mean, the difference what they're paying in probably the richer areas is around $400 a day, compared to general for commercial insurance, which is around $1,000. Where does that difference come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's an enormous amount of money.
Yeah.
That who's making that decision? And I always laugh at all of these bills that come out where they want to handle the homeless, or especially in California where I live, they want to take care of the homeless. So they pass these housing first actions. They spend billions of dollars, clean California, do all of these things, and all they're doing is providing a roof. And though that's important, that's not the issue.
Yeah, the issue,
Yeah.
that's not going to keep them from using drugs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you go down a Skid Row, it's crazy down there.
Yeah.
You literally see, I've never taken you down there. You go down a Skid Row, there's people walking around with needles in their arms.
Yep.
And
Yep.
police are like, Psh, I ain't going in there. They
Ain't
don't
doing
want nothing
nothing.
to do with it.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem that I've always seen with the whole addiction thing is that, yeah, they're not treating what the sickness really is.
That's right.
And it was like in America, what I noticed it got really, really bad was as soon as they closed down all these mental institutions.
Yeah,
When
right.
they closed these mental institutions down all over the United States, that's when the homeless, because a lot of them out there have, mental issues,
Yes,
really
yes,
bad.
yes.
You can't talk to them straight. I remember one time, I offered, to give this guy some money and some food, and he flipped me off.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, and he was digging through the trash. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so he obviously has a mental issue,
That's
but
right.
that's the biggest problem. And,
Yeah.
and we're not looking at that anymore.
Yep.
Well, and also with bringing insurance kind of into the mix with treatment, I think it also invited a lot of like the fraud and the
Yes.
bad players,
Yes. It
the
has,
bad
yeah.
actors that you see come into because they're like, oh, now there's money here.
Patient brokering. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad actors. I mean, I remember. I mean, the heart of it started in Florida, right? And they want to advertise these luxury rehabs, and I've read stories of providers taking somebody off the street, paying them to come in, billing their insurance, retaining that money, giving them heroin to relapse, and then giving them to
Yeah.
their sister program or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it's absolutely criminal, right?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
happened out. I think out here we were reading a thing about the
Well, the reservation, we have a lot of Native American population reservation, and they have programs for treatment through the reservation, and they were these white vans. They were going around just rounding people up and putting them in homes where they weren't getting any treatment at all, and just billing the program.
And they made something like $22 million or something like that.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Sad, you know. To me, it should be helping the person first.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, and I think the money comes if you're really helping people.
That's right.
Right. I think that's the problem that people
Well, and
don't
that
see.
first step in 2008 of recognizing it as a medical condition was important, but it's like we've got this big gap here now to where the insurance isn't motivated to pay what they need to pay.
They don't want to do it.
There's all these bad actors and that are just taking. There's so much fraud in the space too. So it's like, how do we move ahead?
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas for that, Joe?
Yeah.
I mean, exposing it, right? I mean, the bottom line is, it is true. There are a lot of bad actors, and they rip off the insurance companies.
Yeah.
And because of that, they have this nature of trying to claw back money, and they'll come in. And I know perfectly good operators that are dealing with payers like Cigna and other payers that are coming in and like described like the mafia, a shakedown of like, oh, we're getting this money back, and it's, oh, you missed this note here, or you missed this note here, so it doesn't qualify for medical necessity, and therefore we want our money back. It's like, well, wait a minute, no. I mean, we treated that patient,
Yeah.
and so that's the liability. The big thing is the disparity of like the ranges of pay and what is the appropriate rate to actually pay a provider in order for them to provide good services. How do we get that information to the insurance companies, Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's so many insurance companies that are, just as bad as the people ripping them off.
Yeah.
They're just
private
as bad.
companies.
Yeah, they don't want to pay people. They don't want to pay to help anybody.
Absolutely.
It's like you have a car insurance. You haven't had a car in 30 years, and you get a wreck, and finally get into an accident. You total your car, and then they dump you.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, like I told you, like you were like, well, call your insurance company. Remember, for the people that somebody ran into our house in L.A. in a car. She's like, well, just call insurance. I'm like, I'm not calling my insurance because I know what'll happen. Yeah. Yes, I'll get the money back, and then all of a sudden I put out, and then all of a sudden cancel. Yeah. And then it's going to go way up the next person I get. So it's easier just to wait on the other insurance company to give me my money. So I don't have to deal with them at all.
Absolutely.
That's the sad part about it. And in rehab, I'm sure it's the same way. There's a lot of companies that do help, and a lot that they don't want to pay for anything. Yeah. Even though you're putting all that money into it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we were talking about the problem of like a standard of this is how you treat people. Yeah. How did you establish that? How did you decide what you were going to do in Sierra?
Yeah. So, I mean, for us, we wanted to be able to, while we had the person, treat all of their illnesses. Okay. And, addiction, someone comes in, they're drinking for 20 years. Why are they drinking for 20 years? And then because they're drinking for 20 years, they also have liver failure. Oh, yeah. And they have all of this other stuff.
Tons of health issues. Yeah.
And you have to treat that. And that's part of the delay, too, because 2008 was when this kind of ball started getting rolling. That's not a lot of time for society to develop, get rid of that stigma, actually see it as a real medical procedure. And so for us, we went through and we said, what are the things that we see with our patients? Predominantly for us, 90% of our clients are alcohol use disorder. And today, with besides the Elijah House Foundation, we have probably privately owned one of the largest Northern California presence. We have about 120 beds, and we have a mixture of detox residentials from 16 beds to 30 beds, and then we have 3 crisis residentials, which are just their primary mental health only facilities. So these are individuals that they go to the acute psych center for a week or 2 weeks, and they get stepped down to a residential level. Psychiatric services.
Yeah, detoxing from alcohol, if it's not done properly, people can die.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, that it's really bad.
Yeah, do not detox from alcohol. on your own.
No.
Yeah.
You know, just do not do it.
You can die from that. It's very
Absolutely.
bad,
Yeah. It's the most dangerous and it's the most available.
Yeah.
And socially
Yeah.
accepted.
Exactly.
I know.
You know.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, we went through and we have two sets of providers in our care. So we have individuals that are, you know, psychiatrists or psych nurse practitioners. These are the individuals that specialize in the medication management.
Oh, yeah.
The psychiatric needs. Of course, we have, you know, the frontline workers, the licensed therapists, the psychologists, et cetera. But just from a medical provider side, we have that. And then we have the internal medicine providers.
That's cool.
And they see the individuals to treat their liver issue, right? Or to treat whatever needs to be treated. A lot of stuff, they're clean and sober, they feel confident, they have dental issues or whatever, and they've let that go for so long, and now that confidence is back and they're feeling good about themselves, they want to clean up. They want to deal with all their health issues, their dental issues. And the more that we can provide in-house, the more dedicated that patient can be to treatment, and the more successful our program's going to be.
How
Because
many
we don't want people
counselors do
going.
you have per person?
It depends on the site. We have staffing matrix for different locations, but realistically, on the inpatient side, you really want to have a therapist per and it depends on the acuity too, and that's the tough part. But between like 6 and 10 people.
That's cool.
You know, and for one therapist, they're also working supplementary with the provider who's
Yeah.
also seeing that person, the counselor, who's also providing the actual addiction medicine counseling, the case manager, etc.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And that's why I said when I had that kid, I couldn't do both.
Right.
You know, I couldn't help with my child and then help theirs. I was like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
take us through kind of like a day in the life inside treatment. What
Yeah.
is it like inpatient?
Geez, you sound like it's a prison.
Yeah.
Take care of day in our
I'm
life
just curious.
and Sing Sing.
I'm just curious.
Absolutely.
I
Day
did
in the
make
life
I
in a-
did make you do a day in the life in prison. People should go back and listen to that episode. It was a good one.
Yes. No, it wasn't good. It was good, actually. Okay, but a day in the
Yeah.
life in a place where people are getting
Absolutely.
help.
Yeah. I actually produced an award-winning movie doc that just illustrated just this.
What's
And
it called?
What is it called? It's Troy's Story. I'll get it to you.
Okay.
But
We'll put
but
it
the
in
main
show
one is
notes.
Troy's Story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Troy's Story, not to go down that road, but that was an individual that was dear to the family, my first employee, and he died in a tragic motorcycle accident. But this dude was the guy that you want. And if you're going into treatment, you want this guy in your life. And it's an incredible story, 20 minutes long. And then interwebbed in that story was the movie doc on take me through what it is like to go into treatment at Sierra Health and Wellness. You know, it really starts with our incredible admissions workers. And these are like 10 plus guys and gals that work their butts off. And a lot of people don't know this, but before somebody goes into treatment, sometimes it takes upwards of a month of talking with the family, doing interventions, going back and forth, coaching the person, counseling mom, counseling dad.
Yeah.
A lot. It takes so much work to actually get the person into treatment.
Yeah.
And then it takes just as much to get them to stay.
Yeah,
right,
I used to
oftentimes.
always, I was like, I tell you a funny story. I went to one of these rehabs I went to. It was in Burbank. I forgot the name of it. And like an idiot, on the first day I'm there, these idiots take me on a walk with everybody. And I'm in the very back.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, we're like, la 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 la, I'm like, la 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 la, I'm gone.
Yep.
Before they realize it, I was already gone.
They turn right, you turn left.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm the kind of guy, you better keep me in there for at least 6 or 7 days until I can calm down a little bit.
Lock down.
Yeah.
Time down on the bed. Yeah, I had a similar story. I had a guy that just came in, and we were headed down to the park, and I did the same stupid thing that the treatment center did. And this was way back in the day when I first got started. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to take this group of guys down to the park. We're going to have fun, throw the football around. And we pull up and we stop at a stoplight, and there's a liquor store right there.
Oh, man,
The guy busts the van door open in the middle of this, highway thing, and runs across and jumps in the liquor store, grabs a bottle, of vodka and chugs the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, all right, let's start over.
Yeah.
Let's go back up. You know?
Yeah, that's when you
Yeah.
realize addiction is
Yeah.
real, you know. And
Absolutely.
the
You
power
know,
that
oh
it
yeah.
has.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the first thing is that, right? Getting through that that part. That is a little bit of medical and clinical criteria, just trying to understand is this person the right fit for us and what we can do for them? Because maybe we're not. Maybe someone down the street
Yeah.
that we have relationships with is. And what matters is really that person getting the right culture that they need. From there, there's a financial component, like background. You know, you got to check the insurance, got to check those sorts of things. Once they come in, the first thing that they're met with is the nursing team. And the nursing team is going to meet with them. They're going to, you know, it's person by person in
Yeah.
terms of like timing, because some folks are drunk, some folks are in withdrawals
Oh, yeah.
actively, you know. So the process from the admissions, by the time the individual's picked up and brought to treatment, prescriptions are ordered so that when they get to the facility, they have their detox medications. And that's really like the most important thing, is
Yeah.
making sure these guys are medicated and they feel comfortable.
Yeah, because the
Right.
place that I went to when I first got there, that was the last place when I got sober finally. I was in the worst mood possible.
Yeah.
And I was ready to fight everybody.
Yeah.
And that's
And-
when they tied you up.
Yeah, they told me that. Yeah, because they had a
Do you
psych ward above it.
That's real, right? They tie people.
No,
No,
not,
we
not
don't.
anymore.
We
But back, okay.
They did
Back in
for
the day.
you.
They had a psych
You
ward
see it in
upstairs.
the movies.
Yes.
Okay, if you have a psych ward upstairs, you can get strapped down in 4 points.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they had a psych ward upstairs, and I decided they told me I had to go to a meeting. I was taking a shower, and they said, "You're going to go to a meeting." I'm like, "I am not going to a meeting right now," because I had just got there. Like, screw you guys, screw this meeting. And I ripped the shower right down. I go, "Who wants it? Who wants it?" And this
Yep.
giant black guy walked in and he goes, "This can be hard or easy." I went, "Easy." Next thing I know, all of a sudden, the psych ward strapped down. But that's, you know, in 4 points. But that
Yeah.
was,
If you're
it was
stubborn,
right for
like
me.
Yeah.
he is.
It was very right for me. I needed that at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and that's the difference is, you know, all of the programs nowadays, these are voluntary programs.
Yeah.
And they're as much as some moms want them to be involuntary,
Yeah.
it's not going to be effective if
Right,
the
they have to-
person doesn't want treatment.
They have to want to
Yeah.
be there.
That's right.
And they have to. Well, you have to see. For me, I didn't fully surrender until I was sober for 2 years, because I'll tell you why. They said that I was going to be the first one to go out, and so I was so stubborn. I was like, I will stay sober
That's right.
just to piss you off. And then 2 years later, I'm like, man, this is great. I love
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
bam, the miracle happened. I was like,
Wow,
wow, this is
that's
the
interesting.
best.
Wow.
You know, and
Yeah.
then I'm going on 33 years sober.
Yeah.
Sobriety, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow.
Just to spite
Oh
everybody.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
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 I was that kind of person. I would spite you and stay sober.
That's hilarious.
Not be the first one out of
Well,
here.
I guess
Yep.
you got to find your motivation.
Yeah, you got to do
somewhere.
it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to figure it out. Whatever works. You know. Yeah. So the nurses will take them in if they feel comfortable. First thing that we do is we're getting basic information. We want to make sure that they're fed. So oftentimes we either feed them on the way or we feed them as soon as they get there. And the big deal is, and a lot of people don't think this is important, but once you're there and you kind of get through the paperwork stuff as minimal as possible, and you're medicated, shower.
Yes.
Go shower. You know, take your clothes, wash them, go shower, get situated. That's all you need to focus on right now.
Yeah.
Is take a really good shower. And people don't realize how much that means to an individual. You know, they're like, okay. And then, you know, just from everyone you can imagine, these individuals are met with compassion, just making sure that their needs are met, whether they run into the environmental health worker or the security guard or the therapist or the program director or whoever. Everyone's on point. Everyone's got the same culture down, and everyone's operating in what I like to call that humble leadership, where we're just here to serve people. I mean, that's our job. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, kindness goes a long way in this field.
Yeah. And
Really
genuineness.
does. Yeah.
And
yeah.
genuineness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People
absolutely.
really wanting to help you.
Yep.
That's what I found at my place, where they were really sincerely wanting to help me.
Right.
You know, and it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the only thing that does. I mean,
Yeah.
you know right away who's authentic and who's not.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So, from there, they're in detox, right? And so they see the physician every day, and medication is somewhat adjusted. If they're not feeling well, we up this or we up that, or we change this or we change that. The whole goal for really the first 72 hours is We want them to be comfortable. We're monitoring them every 15 to 30 minutes, and that's a physical 3 feet monitoring. It's somewhat could kind of be a little annoying, but we want to make sure you're alive, right?
Oh,
we
yeah.
want to make sure that you're alive, and it's also required, right? It's required by our licensing department. We can't not do that, and it's just standard of care. We got to monitor people. That's the whole point of being in a medical detox facility.
Yes.
Is you're being monitored. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so the first 3 days are obviously the most, like what am I doing? All right, I'm medicated. You much more want to be medicated than you want to be in withdrawals. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people don't want to detox because they don't want to feel the withdrawals. And what people don't realize is you go to a detox facility, you won't. If you communicate correctly to the provider, they will adjust the meds
That's
so
what
that
the
you're
prescriptions
comfortable.
are for.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
To ease that.
It's to ease it. It's to help you sleep. It's so that you don't go into seizures.
Especially with
all
alcohol.
of the things. Oh yeah, alcohol, benzodiazepines,
heroin, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there was a guy who they gave him medication in one of the centers that I worked in, and it wasn't. He was so over that it literally he was screaming the whole night.
Yeah, wow.
And they tried everything. They just because he was so out there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was hard. So.
Well, the tough part about
What was he
heroin.
detoxing from?
Heroin.
Yeah. So the tough part about heroin is you could not medicate them.
Yeah.
For the first 18 to 24 hours.
Yep.
So the best drug to use for that is Suboxone, and you can administer Suboxone for at least 18 hours of withdrawal.
That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah.
So that's why he was screaming so
Yeah.
loud.
They have to get through that part. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
They'll
that's pooping yourself and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's bad.
Oh, you're
vomiting,
beaded sweats.
sweating. Yep.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It
not
is
fun.
terrible. Believe me, I've watched them go through it.
Yeah, it's not fun. And most of those guys are using heroin because they had back injuries. They were put on oxycodone or
I never
Norcos.
liked heroin. Thank God.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, I wasn't a down. I didn't like downers.
Yeah.
I wanted to be up here.
Yeah.
The whole time. I'd be like, stay up for 72 hours. I start seeing ghosts everywhere now. That was the problem.
How long is detox, that phase?
Yeah. So it's based off of medical necessity. The provider is the sole individual that determines that with the patient. Typically, it's between 3 and 7 days. And 3 days is probably normal. 7 days is a very long detox. And you're not acute for 7 days, right? There might be something going on that we need to monitor for day 6 and day 7.
Yeah.
But typically, it's 3-4 days. Pretty standard.
Right, and that's why when people are going to treatment, if they're only going for like a week, it's like you're basically just getting detox.
It's useless.
That's it.
Yeah. So I want to take that back. It may not be useless to everyone. So for example, if you've gone to treatment, you've been there for 30, 60 days, and then you have a relapse, you go to detox, and you're in the right mind, and only you know if you're in the right mind, likely is you don't necessarily need to stay for another 30 days. I don't know that for everyone. The person listening this would know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But we do get people that come in and they say, I only want detox. And the problem with that is there's no treatment happening.
Yeah.
We're getting rid of your physical withdrawals, but the reason you're drinking or the reason you're using, we don't get to treat that at all. So it is a huge, huge risk. Almost nobody works out if they just do detox only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have a program.
Yeah.
Bill W. said it right. He was like, without a program, you ain't making it.
Yeah.
And without God, he said you won't make it.
Absolutely. And we know statistically that the longer someone's in treatment, the better.
Oh, yeah.
And that the minimum is 45 days.
Yep.
The minimum. And that's the other thing. The insurance companies want to pay 14, 15 days max.
Exactly.
And it just doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. So.
Yeah, because this is for this disease, it's a long game.
Yeah.
You play the long game, people can stay sober.
That's right.
And it's like, I lived sober living for 17 months. So I played the long game this time. But before I would play, 18 days, 30 days. I played 30 days, but I was gone. But I played, 17 months is a long time to be in a program. And they had to push me out. I didn't want to leave. they were like, you got to go. And I'm like, no,
And then
it's nice
sober
here.
living was a place you went to
That's where I stayed
After,
17 months.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you go after.
I was in
Yeah.
treatment for 60 days, and then I
Yeah.
went to sober living for 17 months.
Yep. So my recommendation, typically, standardly, is that you go to treatment for 45 to 60 days.
Yeah.
And that includes detox.
Yeah.
And then you go to some sort of supportive housing
Oh, yeah.
for 60 to 90 with outpatient services. And, again, it's person by person, but you really want to get that amount of time. Because there's what we refer to as providers, the higher levels of care or the different levels of care or the continuum of care you might
Right.
hear. And the first, obviously, top notch is detox. And then you have residential services, which is in the same building, same bed, same et cetera. Once that's complete, you need to go down to what's called PHP, partial hospitalization program. And that is essentially an outpatient program that sees you 3 to 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. So you're there essentially doing what you did in residential, but you're not being monitored overnight. And
So
you're doing that for
so the
longer.
detox residential is what you recommend is like the 45 to 60 days.
Correct.
Okay, and then this outpatient where you're seeing somebody several times a week still.
Yeah.
And maybe in like a sober living house
Right.
as the next step.
Yep. Yeah, so PHP is typically, 4 to 6 weeks. And then you just reduce. So you reduce to what's called intensive outpatient, which is 3 days a week, typically 4 hours a day. And you can do, once it gets to that, you're able to go back to work. You're able to, you go to a class Mondays at 6 o'clock in the evening after work or whatever, but you're able to work, you're able to go back. You still have support, you're still in group, you still see your provider, but you're just connected, right? And that's the important part, is staying in recovery for long term. It doesn't have to be like that, but you got to stay connected. See your therapist once a month or
so
something.
when you with Sierra, what are you looking forward to for Sierra in the future?
Yeah. So right now we are, we have, and I'll just go through a couple. We have a few locations in the Sacramento area, a large presence in Sacramento. We have a veterans-only program in Butte County, which is a 24-acre ranch, and it's got 16 beds that are, and we call it the Wellness Warrior Ranch. 16 beds are detox res, and then we have on the same property 6 beds for crisis residential or primary mental health, and those are vets only. And there's a big reason to do vets or first responders only, but and then we have presence in the Bay Area and down in Monterey.
Okay.
Our goal is to be in all 50 states. I mean, that's our intention. And I always say it like this: our goal is to be in all 50 states, or until our care starts to decline. As soon as we're too big to manage the platinum level care or the best care that we can provide, that's the point where we got to go, okay, we're done. Otherwise, we're just like everyone else.
Yeah. The veterans only facility, those extra 6 beds, are those for people that maybe don't have a substance use?
Yeah.
It's just a mental. I
so
don't mean just as in like trivial. I just
Right.
curious.
Yes and no. So there's a couple ways. The technical term is crisis residential. That's the technical term of the license. It's also referred to as primary mental health. And what that means is that the diagnoses of the individual is primarily, or the biggest issue is a mental health condition or a mental health disorder.
Like PTSD or
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
The addiction issue could still be there, but it maybe is a secondary diagnosis. So that person is appropriate for one of those programs.
Because you can treat them for all of them, right?
Absolutely, anywhere, yeah. But the difference is the mental health only patient can only go to those types of facilities.
Gotcha.
So the license, at least in California where we are, doesn't allow for us to take individuals like in the detox residential places with no addiction issues. Those folks have to go to the primary mental health issues.
Right.
So it's kind of, both can go here, but not both can go there, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so that level of care is just a little bit different. It's individuals that do truly have sometimes, more acute mental health disorders and, suicidal ideations, stuff like that. That maybe they don't have an addiction issue at all, and they're just struggling with that.
Right.
9 times out of 10, those individuals self-medicate. And so they wind up in the addiction medicine world. You detox them and you go, oh, these guys have some significant co-occurring disorders that we need to treat. And that's why you could do both on the detox res side, because you have to be built for both because of that, right? And so it's important, at least for us as a provider, to have all service lines, because again, it allows us to be a better resource to the community and a better resource to the person. Because when you go to treatment and you've built a rapport and you walk in and you see Sierra Health and Wellness and you have, brown walls and you have this system and you do this at this time, and then you go to the outpatient clinic and it's exactly the same, and the people are acting exactly the same because the people have the same boss and the same principles and purpose. You feel comfortable and you're like, I'm at home, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to going to treatment here and then getting sent out and you got to know a whole different rhyme or reason, different group of people, different culture. So that's what we've wanted to be able to create, is anything our patients may need, as well as like pharmacy, pharmaceutical needs. It's not just, the specific behavioral health. That's predominantly what we do, but it's not all we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just magically change one thing, like we give you a magic wand to make treatment better, to make things more successful, what would you change?
It goes back to the rates. If the rates were standard and they were even 40% higher, every treatment facility in this country would be able to provide the correct services and be in a state where they can afford to pay their bills, pay their people well. Because at the end of the day, your product line is your nurses, your therapists, your physicians. And if these folks aren't well paid, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to, or they're not going to want to. If they can't pay their bills or they're struggling at home, and of course we live in the U.S. where you have to have 2-3 incomes anyways in a household. But if that was done where that was a federally standard rate change, where it was reasonable, it would stop the abuse.
Yeah.
It would allow the good providers to come in and provide a good service.
Well, I think it has, for me, it has a lot to do with you hear about these other countries. Like I had a Wendy's, friend who had that surgery in Japan. They were like, oh, we hate to have to charge you, but you don't have any insurance, you don't live here.
Yeah.
And she's thinking, it's gonna be like $30,000, $40,000 for that surgery. And there was like, oh, it's $100.
Yeah.
That's the problem in the
Yeah.
United States. You go to a hospital and you get a pill, and it's freaking $60 for just an aspirin.
I'll tell you why.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's the insurance games. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this is the insurance. If I send a bill to an insurance company, and let's say it's what I need. Let's say it's $1,500, right? And that's the exact amount I need. They will pay me 20% of that. They will say, okay, we're going to pay you, whatever that is, right? $400. We got to do math here.
$300.
Yeah, $300. If I send them a bill for $4,000, then they're going to send me a bill for $1,000 or $1,500.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so that game of having to charge this ridiculous amount of money just to get what you need, a lot of people don't realize that's why these things are skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And it's all solved by some kind of federal standardization of rates where behavioral health is brought into mainstream healthcare.
Yeah.
And we are able to really just be transparent and expose these things and say, this is what we need.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'm
a
not
set
being political,
standard
but
of
that ain't
care.
gonna happen
This
for the
is
next
how
3
we
years.
treat it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not being political, but that ain't gonna happen for the next 3
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
You can forget that.
So the big thing is, and this is the point, what we as provider or addiction medicine providers
Yeah.
get paid for is the baseline.
Oh, yeah.
It is the bare minimum. But in order to actually help the person, you have to have the in-house doctors, and you have to have the therapists and the psychologists, and not just the drug and alcohol counselors. And the fact that we get paid for the low end of it,
Oh, yeah.
and in order to stay in the game, and in order to actually do good to the community, you have to burn through all of the money that you could be making
Yes.
that could go back to the employees or back to a new program or growth opportunity, et cetera. That's all
It's
done
really
with.
a program, what I always say is, it's a program about really wanting to help people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you ain't going to get rich from it. And
That's
you
right.
know, so you got to literally work hard,
That's right.
and because that's what it's all about,
Yep.
this program.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, sometimes when we talk about this kind of stuff, I just sit here and go like, oh, there's just so much work to be done.
Yeah. But we have to do it. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
You probably feel like that a lot, Joe.
A lot. A lot. Yeah, and I mean, as long as we have time, I got another example, and this is a big one that happened to us this year. We've been one of the largest veteran providers in Northern California. And there was a time that we had a meeting with the NorCal VA system, one of their higher ups. I don't know exactly the position, but I had asked her, I said, how many vets do you guys have placed into community care programs like us? And she said, we have 80, she looked it up, 83. And I texted my admissions director, how many vets do we have in our care? And at the time it was like 47. And we had over half of the Northern California vets. And so for years we've been a large veteran provider. And the thing about vets is they especially have a lot of medical issues
Oh, yeah.
and mental health issues, right, for obvious reasons.
Right.
And it cost us a lot more money to treat them than it does the regular civilian.
Yeah.
And that's the population that we want to treat.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a call in May of this year, and it was from TriWest, which is the organization, the private company that contracts with the federal government, and they manage their healthcare system for veterans. They called and
Like
said,
basically the veterans insurance.
Veterans insurance, yeah,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
So they called and they said, essentially, they cut our rates by 80%. And they said, hey, we've been paying you and everyone else X amount of dollars. We're now moving forward going to pay you that, just in the middle of the night, just like that. And what that does is it brings the rate even below what some commercial insurance makes, what they pay. And it makes it nearly impossible to treat veterans the way that they need to be treated.
Yeah.
And you ask, how do we solve this problem? It's all about paying appropriate rates so that we, providers, can do the work.
Like, how do they even decide? Like, how do they arrive at the decision to cut the rate?
How much profits they want.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. That's
How
what
much
it-
profits
with
they want.
everything.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it's about with everything.
Yeah. So we're on a march to really expose that, because it's criminal what they're doing to our veterans.
Yeah.
And, they didn't send notices. They didn't do anything. They just said, oh, we're going to do this. And, I'm talking to peers of mine here in Arizona, California, Nevada, and they're going, we just can't provide services to veterans anymore for this rate. We just can't do it.
Yeah.
And, what that means is veterans will die from that decision. Whoever made that decision, veterans will die from that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's terrible. I think that's what, makes me feel like my blood starts boiling, and I get so frustrated, is that it's like, it's so hard to get people to the point where they're willing to accept treatment. Like we
Yeah.
talked about at the beginning,
Right.
right? All the process that it has to go to get the people to actually be able to go to treatment. And it makes me crazy to think that it's like we get them in the door and then we can't serve them.
Yeah.
We can't serve them because there's no funding for
Right.
it, or we can't serve them because of the fraud that exists in the industry.
That's
They're
right.
not even finding good treatment. Like
Yep.
all of the horror stories that you've talked to people about,
Yeah.
like, I think a lot of the addicts that Todd and I will talk to that are in recovery will talk about the bad places they went before they finally found the good place.
Yeah.
It's like part of the story.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be part of the story
And
at
it's
all.
a part of almost everyone's story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's terrible. It should be you need treatment and then there's a place you can go to find it.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So there's just a lot of work that needs to be done here.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes just transparency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're transparent. We'll lay down to any of the insurance companies what our cost is
Yeah.
to actually treat that patient. and how much money we actually need. They call it reimbursement. We're treating the patient, and they're reimbursing us for this.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hopefully something. It's gonna take some politician that's very, very specifically has a passion for addiction medicine and recovery and fixing what this country's really cost.
Right.
Well, yeah, and thing in this country, we have more addiction here than they do anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and Todd and I are working on mybestrehab.org, a foundation that will help bring people
Yeah.
to the best treatment centers like Sierra, help them find those. Because there's so many people that, are looking for treatment and they just end up in those bad places.
Yeah.
And like Todd was saying, if we can just connect people with the right centers, some of those people will be able to pay and help support the rest. I mean, there's just so much that work needs to be done here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's going to be a great tool. It
Yeah.
really is. It really is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time this episode airs, it will be ready.
Yes.
We're putting the finishing touches on it. So,
It takes time.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
well, we do a little segment each week called
Yeah.
Todd Flicks, which is about a TV show
Okay.
that Todd is watching at the moment.
And I did not think that it was adequate to do Breaking Bad. That would not work for this
We'll
show.
save that one for another
Save
week.
that for another show. So this one is called Countdown. It's a new series on Amazon Prime. June. It just got released in June, starring Jensen Ackles from Supernatural.
Okay.
And it's a really good show. It's
Oh,
about the plot is go ahead. You want to read the plot, honey?
No, you read it.
The plot is after a Homeland Security officer is murdered, an LAPD detective, Mark Meacham, Eccles joins a covert task force to uncover agents.
You didn't have to read that. You could
I'm
have
just reading it, and he starts
Why
with
are
a
you
manhunt
reading
because
it?
I'm reading it. It starts with a man cover to uncovers a far dark conspiracy. What's happening? And now I'm going to
You just
explain it.
tell us what the
Now I'm gonna
show's
explain it.
about.
What the show's about is Jensen Ackles' character.
He's the supernatural guy.
Which guy, though?
Which one?
Which one?
It's the smaller brother.
Oh,
Not
okay.
the tall one.
Okay.
Not the guy that was on Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Not
I got
him.
you. Yeah.
Not the guy who has that Walker, that Texas show.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
that one.
Okay.
Is that one good, that Texas show? No?
That's
That's for
great.
next week.
Not good. I don't like it. I didn't like it. So
Okay.
that's
But
my
we
first
love Supernatural.
I love Supernatural. I loved everything
Yeah.
Jensen Ackles has been in. He was
Yeah.
in The Boys, Supernatural, and also now he's in this show called Countdown. And what I found really good, interesting about it is it's basically about these task force that they're like become like above the FBI. They're above everybody.
Oh.
And they go out trying to figure out what happened to solve, this case. But what they run into, basically, I don't want to ruin this. I can't tell you what they run into.
Yeah, you can't.
But the good part about it is Jensen Ackles also has a medical issue that he's dealing with the whole time, and he doesn't want to tell
So
anybody.
he's a detective.
He's a
got some-
detective, yeah. He's one of the detectives. Like, he's a very physical detective, wants to get things done, and then he's working with all these wonderful and everybody. I can't think of the names of the people, but I've seen everybody in something.
Okay,
Oh,
so it's a
wow.
good
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a really, really good cast.
That makes a difference.
And the
But
boss is an amazing
it is
show.
still coming out, right?
Yeah,
this
it's
one
still
is
out.
like in its
This is-
first
This
season.
is the first season, and it's on episode. I'm waiting for episode 8, I believe. I'm waiting for.
Do they
See-
still release episode by episode?
Yeah,
Some
they
of
do.
them they do.
Yeah.
Some of them.
I thought we were done with that.
No.
No, I think they've gone back to that model because people will just like consume it so quickly.
That's what I would do.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I do
Like-
too.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just binge it. But
Yeah.
yeah, now I'm waiting on shows just different. It's driving me crazy right now because I'm used
Yeah.
to binging them.
I know, and I'm surprised we even covered this as Hotflix because they can't really go binge it. They can go watch like the first
Watch the first
few,
7 episodes. Yeah, but it's like such a good show.
and you can watch Supernatural while you're waiting
Yes.
for it to come out.
and Supernatural you can binge to the 12
Supernatural is
seasons.
so good. Have we even done that one? I don't
No,
know.
but
I don't know if we've ever done that.
No, but are you sure you watched Supernatural? Because it can be scary for
We
you.
watched it. I watched it with you.
But we haven't watched the whole season of it, all of it.
Well, I
12
haven't
seasons.
But it's
finished
but
it.
it's like
There's so-
2010 scary. That's different scary
right.
than now.
It totally is. And it's a long show. I
It
don't
is very
think-
long.
How many episodes of that? Have you seen Supernatural?
I've
You've
seen
that.
half of their seasons.
Yeah.
It's very long.
I
Yeah.
watched it all the way because I kept up with it. I watched it from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but I could binge shows. I could probably watch, if it's a 13 episode show or 22 episodes, I probably can do 10 shows a day.
Oh,
Do you know
wow.
what's
Wow.
amazing
Yeah.
to me is how much TV and movies like Todd has seen. He's seen almost everything.
Yeah.
And at first, when I first met him, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. He watches so much, but I'm like, this is his literally his job,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
my
then
life. That's what I do.
then I felt better about it. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, he's just trying to stay up on his craft
You
by
have
knowing
to,
everything
you have
that's out
to,
there.
because you have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're
That's
not
why I
left
made
behind.
you watch K-pop Demon Hunters, and aren't you glad?
That was a really good show, actually.
Yeah.
believe it or
Have
not.
you
Have you
seen
seen that
that?
yet?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Right.
Well, this
I
one's
mean,
on
who has the
Netflix.
time, right?
But if you
Yeah.
watch it, you'll start singing with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a kids, basically from teenager girls.
Do you have
and
young?
Like that.
You have young kids?
I have so many. I have 5 kids.
You
yeah.
do?
Oh,
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
How do you have any
that's a lot
under
of
like the
kids.
age of 12?
My oldest is 12.
Okay,
She'd like it.
you.
Yeah. She'll like it.
Like they've probably seen K-pop Demon Hunters.
It's
I'm
on
sure.
Netflix. It's
I'm
for
sure.
kids, But
Okay.
it's actually, the
You
music
probably
is
like
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a fun one to watch as a family.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really particular on the show. So I like a lot of the kind of ancient, I like the Viking shows.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
then,
those.
Then you must have seen, God, what's the name of the?
Ghosts? Is that what you're thinking of? No, you're thinking of
Seven
the-
Kings Must Die. You've seen
Yes.
that?
Yep.
And you watched that whole season of that? Yeah, I watched that whole season of that show, and then Seven Kings Must Die was the movie for it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a
good.
comedy
Yeah.
show called Ghosts.
That's really
There's a
funny.
really funny Viking
Yeah.
character on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's just a short one. If you're short on time, this would be a good one. It's what channel is it on? Or which is it Prime? Is
No,
Ghosts
it's not
Prime or
Prime.
Netflix?
No, it's
I don't know.
Paramount
but it's
Plus.
called Ghosts and it's funny.
Paramount Plus.
Oh, really?
It's Paramount
It's
Plus.
hilarious.
It's funny with the Viking in it?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and the
The Viking's
Viking
hilarious.
is one of my favorite characters.
Okay. All right.
Because he,
And it's not a Marvel movie. Yeah.
no.
And it's short, it's probably 25 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an
episode
actual
time.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a,
Oh, gotcha.
it's just
Well,
like
now
a little,
though, what they're getting ready to do, people don't realize what they're getting ready to do, making 3-minute shows. Oh, that's getting ready to become really popular.
Really?
Yeah,
Just the
they're
attention
doing it
span.
right now. A lot of people are putting a lot of money involved.
I think they're
in it.
vertical ones too, right?
Yeah.
You like walk. They're meant to be watched
They're meant for your phone or your
Yeah.
computer. You just but it's going to be 3 minutes, which
Yeah.
is nothing. That's no more of your time. It's watch 3-minute show. So
We'll
Yeah,
see.
it's interesting you say that. I met with because I had a part in my life. I've done one full feature film, executive producer, and then some shorts and stuff like that. And I met with a producer down in Beverly Hills, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me, and this was maybe a year and a half ago. He was telling me there's, Hollywood in general is just trying to figure out
Yeah.
which direction they're
No
going.
one knows
And-
Yeah,
right,
it's kind
right.
of broken a
bad.
little
Yeah.
bit right now.
It's very
Yeah.
broken.
Well, the business to me, and we've told them this was going to happen. It's broken because of all the reality shows.
Right.
We told them that was going to happen. The more reality shows you make, because a reality show, once you know the outcome, you're not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like a TV show.
Exactly.
Well, and also the
You know?
splintered audience, the fact that there is it's impossible to amass as big of an audience as you used to be able to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
because
Because we only have
everybody,
3 channels,
you know,
yeah.
we have so many options
and so many
Yeah.
people producing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Netflix is doing their own thing. These guys are doing their own thing.
But
Yeah.
that's why the 3 minutes are going to be it could do really well because you may not have time, but you can watch an entire episode in 3 minutes.
That's crazy.
That'll be interesting. We'll see.
I mean, I remember you used to be able to walk into the movie theater and pick from like 6 really good quality movies.
Yeah, not anymore.
And it's just maybe once every couple months you have one good one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm still,
Yeah.
I like Marvel movies. I'm still there.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I like horror movies too. Like I watch a lot of horror movies with my
I'm
older
out.
kids.
Yeah.
I do not watch horror movies.
We
I'm
love
not a horror
I
movie
love-
fan. Yeah.
Well, we don't watch the demonic ones, but
Oh,
we watch
okay.
all the other ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to see the demonic ones.
and
I
by
don't-
we, he
yeah.
means he and his kids, because that is
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
She'd be afraid to walk outside if she's not one of those
When I
movies.
did watch horror movies, I didn't watch the demonic ones.
Yeah, I don't
It was
watch
just,
those.
yeah, it's like
Because that can
I'm
be
okay.
real.
Because that
Exactly.
it,
That's why I
can
don't
be
watch
real.
that.
It's so true.
That's
I know
right.
Freddy ain't gonna kill me in my dreams.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
But this other one,
Yeah.
man,
Yep, yeah.
I don't want to run into no demon for real.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
dang.
Dang. I'm Todd Bridges, and that's Bettijo Bridges, is it? No, I'm kidding. Bridges. And if you like us, like and subscribe, and tell a friend. See you next time. Dang is produced by my wife, Bettijo Bridges, in collaboration with Star Worldwide Network Studios, and edited by our daughter, Adelie Ann.
She's also the musician responsible for our theme music, so go check out Adelie Ann wherever you stream your music. Have a question or topic you want us to cover? Send us your suggestions at dangpodcast.com.
Do me a favor. Please subscribe and rate our podcast to make it easier for others to find. Have a great week.
Yeah,